The people who work for you are your greatest asset, so it makes sense to keep accurate records about these assets. We believe it's not only essential but quite simple to do. In this module, we'll examine different staff records and the benefits of keeping them. There are so many reasons to keep your staff file up to date. Imagine yourself, the business owner, working late one night trying to finish a response to an important tender, and you need some information that is in a locked cupboard. The staff member who's responsible for the key has gone home, and now you don't know how to get hold of her. If you had up-to-date staff records, you would have all the contact details you need for that staff member, and you could then phone her at home. Or another scenario, you need all the PAYE amounts that you've deducted from your staff members throughout the year to complete your SARS annual return. Where do you start if you haven't kept comprehensive records of what you paid each staff member and the tax you've deducted from them every month? There's so many other occasions where having staff records will be valuable to you. Staff records are often one of the areas that busy entrepreneurs don't think about or don't find time to keep updated. Because it's important, let's focus on it for this module. Some of the staff records we suggest you keep in your legal documents file are the personal details form, employment contracts, salary and other payment details, leave records such as annual leave, sick leave, special leave, maternity leave, and unpaid leave, performance records, disciplinary records, training records, and staff loans. It's important to remember that most of the above information is confidential and so should be filed in a safe place that only you or someone you have authorized has access to. We'll now look at each of these staff records in more detail. The first form we'll discuss is the personal details form. This form contains the personal information and contact details of that staff member. It's a form that you ask each new staff member to fill in. This includes the person's full name, ID number, banking details, tax number, address, telephone numbers, and the contact details of the staff member's family or next of kin. Next of kin details are important because they may be needed in an emergency. Most of the personal information will be needed in order to load and process the staff member's salary and to make the necessary payments to SARS for tax and other deductions. It's vital that these details are kept up to date. People often forget to do this, so it may be a good idea to set a date in your calendar once a year to ask each staff member to review their personal details sheet and to advise you of any fields that may have changed so that you can update your records. If you're using the SM Easy system, you can record your employees' personal details in the Staff Details section. The personal details sheet should be filed in the Legal and Confidential Documents file. Let's talk about employment contracts. These are the contracts between your company and each staff member and should be signed and filed. Any changes that you make to the contract in the future should also be recorded in writing and filed. These could include salary increases and changes to any conditions of employment or job descriptions. All the details relating to salary payments made to your staff members should be included in your staff records section of the Legal and Confidential Documents file. These records should include copies of individual payslips issued to each staff member. If you're using the SM Easy system, then you could print out a staff salary schedule for the month and file that instead of making copies of individual payslips. These would reflect all salary amounts, deductions, and net salaries paid out to the staff members. This is a useful document when filling out your monthly SARS submission or EMP 201 document. We talk more about this in the module on basic small business legal requirements. You should also keep proof that you actually paid out the salaries. If you pay a staff member in cash, then it's important they sign a slip as proof that they've received the cash. You could use your duplicate book for this. If you transfer the money directly into their bank account, then file the deposit slip or payment confirmation sheet as proof. If you give your staff members salary increases or payout bonuses, these should be recorded in a letter that is given to the staff member, and a copy should be filed. Another important record is staff timesheets. Timesheets record the time that your staff have worked. These are more important in different types of businesses. For example, if you're a business that invoices your clients for the time it took your team to complete a project, then the timesheets are vital. Your business may use a staff attendance register. You should always ensure your staff attendance register is kept in a secure place. Our next staff document to discuss is the payslip. The South African Revenue Service has issued an official statement specifying all the information that a payslip must display. These are the title, payslip, the name and registration number of the company, the name, staff number, and ID number of the staff member, a unique payslip number, the date, a description of the earnings, company contributions and deductions such as PAYE, and the net pay, the amount they will actually receive. An important source of information for you is SARS. You can search their website for information and forms, or if you'd prefer, you can visit a consultant at your nearest SARS office. There are a few deductions and contributions that South African law requires each business to make on behalf of staff members, and to then pay them over to SARS on a regular basis. We'll now discuss the three most common deductions and contributions that you'll make as an employer. Firstly, there's personal income tax, known as PAYE, pay as you earn. It's your responsibility as an employer to ensure that you deduct the correct amount of tax from each employee. This amount is based on the staff member's salary. You'll need to use the PAYE tax tables to work this out. These you can find on the SARS website and are actually very easy to use. Let's use an example to understand how to read a tax table. Assume you have a staff member earning 5,360 Rand per month. We would find the bracket where the salary fits in and then move across the table to read the tax amount. In this sample tax table, the staff member would have to pay 110 Rand PAYE tax per month. At the start of every tax year, new tax tables are uploaded onto the SARS website, so it's very important that you remember to download the new tax tables and change your PAYE deductions for each staff member before paying out salaries. Remember, the tax year starts from the 1st of March and ends on the last day of February of the following year. So your March payslips should show the updated tax deduction amount. Don't forget to also look up the new tax deduction amount when you give a staff member an increase in salary. If you're using the SM Easy system, this change is made once in the package details section and will then pull through to the correct payslip every month. At the end of every tax year, you'll need to issue your staff member with an IRP5 form. The IRP5 form simply shows the details of the income earned by the staff member, as well as deductions made during the previous tax year. The staff member will need to use this form to complete their annual tax return. If you're using the SM Easy system, you can print out the individual salary schedule, which will display all the information your staff member will require to submit his tax return. Every month, you're required to deduct UIF from each staff member's salary and pay it over to the Unemployment Insurance Fund via SARS. This is used to fund people who become unemployed under certain circumstances, such as when a woman is on unpaid maternity leave or when a person has been retrenched. It's the responsibility of both the staff member and the business to make a contribution to the fund. The staff member will contribute 1% of their salary to the fund, and the business will match the contribution with another 1%. So the total UIF contribution equals 2% of the total salary. It's important to note that there's a maximum UIF deduction amount which changes every year. Use the SARS website to find out what the maximum amount is for the current tax year. Further details of UIF are covered in the Basic Small Business Legal Requirements module. The Skills Development Levy is a compulsory monthly contribution that your business needs to make for the purpose of funding education and training schemes. All businesses that employ staff members have to make the contribution to SARS. This deduction amount is equal to 1% of the total salary bill, which includes basic salary, commission, allowances, and bonuses. For further information on this levy, you can visit the Department of Labor's website. You'll also find more information in our Record Keeping Made Easy training module on basic small business legal requirements. Moving on from SARS, we'll now discuss leave forms. Leave forms need to be completed and signed by staff members every time they want to take leave and then stored in the staff file. This is how you'll keep record of how many days of leave each staff member has taken, and therefore how many more days are due to them. Remember, you get several types of leave, such as normal annual leave, sick leave, family responsibility leave, and maternity leave. A basic leave form should include the name and surname of the staff member, the type of leave being taken, the number of days the staff member has taken, the date that the leave is starting on, and the date on which the staff member will be back at work. The form should include a space for the staff member to sign that she is applying for the leave, as well as a space for you to sign as approval. We would now like to discuss an important but often neglected area of staff management: performance appraisals. It's a good idea to do individual staff performance appraisals or assessment on a regular basis. There are many different ways to do appraisals. The important part is to file proof. There may come a time when you need to enter into formal disciplinary procedures with a staff member around their performance. This is an unfortunate and often stressful part of employing people. It's vitally important that all notes and records around disciplinary action, whether they're warning letters or minutes of counseling sessions and disciplinary hearings, be carefully filed away. If you should end up at the CCMA and don't have a complete set of records, then you risk losing the case and may have to rehire the staff member or incur further costs. These records are highly confidential, so make sure you put your legal and confidential documents file in a secure place. We'll now cover staff training. It's helpful to keep detailed records regarding training that your staff attends. These should include the name of the staff member, the type of training, who the trainer or training provider was, when the training took place and how long it was for, and the details and results of any assessments or tests that the staff member completed. Putting these details on a training register where the staff members can sign as proof that they did attend is a good idea. Then you can simply file the signed training register with your staff records. Training can be in the form of in-house group training, informal coaching, and external training that staff members attend off-site, for example. So remember to keep a record of all these. Your training records, together with a workplace skills plan, gives you the opportunity to receive funding from the government to put towards the cost of training your staff members. You need to contact your industry's CETA for assistance. You can find the contact and website details of your industry's CETA on the Department of Labor's website. The last staff record we're going to mention is staff loans. If you've lent a staff member money from the business in the form of a staff loan, the details of the loan should be laid out in a contract that is signed by the staff member. You need to file this safely along with the other staff records. This brings us to the end of our module on managing your staff records. Your staff are one of your most valuable assets, And by you keeping proper staff records, you'll convey that all-important message to them. Keeping complete and up-to-date records of all information between you and your staff member is often a weakness in small businesses. Now that we've shown you what types of information and documents are important to keep in the legal and confidential file, you'll be viewed as a better quality employer.